Welcome to the show. This is the CarGurus editorial team here to talk out some articles for your audio pleasure.
Tell me more.
Tell you more? Listen to these sultry voices, the laughter, the joy coming through these microphones. Do you feel it? I feel it. Natalie, do you feel it?
I feel it.
Lead staff writer Natalie Harrington, thank you for being here. Next to Natalie in studio, our California man.
Yeah, I'm too cold to feel anything right now. So I'm just happy to be here. So folks, Dave, editor-in-chief of Autolist, CarGurus' sister site. And we run some EV content here.
Perfect.
Happy to be here.
Introducing himself.
Hey.
Yeah, well, it wasn't coming.
Take
I got to do the Autolist plug every now and then.
Go for
We're
it.
here too.
I'm not introducing myself.
We're
Take
here
some
too.
weight off the shoulders. Matt's doing the lean.
Feel normal to me.
Matt has been talking about the lean. We're finally into it. Matt's in his lean era.
It's the Bob Barker.
The Bob Barker. That's a big Bob Barker.
Yeah.
This is Matt Smith, deputy U.S. editor. Loving the lean. How you feeling today?
It's just great to be here with everybody. You look cold, but you still have your multiple shirts on, though.
Yeah, because it's cold in here. Yeah, nothing has warmed me up other than the camaraderie and the conversation we're about to have.
We will address the heat.
Yeah.
Or the air conditioning, I guess.
Yep.
At a later date. Not today, though. Today, we're talking about the best 7-passenger SUVs of 2025. So if you are a buyer today and you need a little bit more space and you're not going to make the decision to go minivan, which that's a topic
That's
for
a whole
another
different
day.
conversation.
And
yeah.
fine.
And fine.
Emotional purchases. Let's not tell people how to shop.
I'm not going to tell you. I would suggest. But if you want an SUV because they arguably look cooler than a minivan.
They are cooler.
They are cooler.
Let's just call it.
What are the best ones on the market today? As written by one of our wonderful contributors, Chris Teague. Let's hear it for Chris Teague.
Yeah, this is probably handed in late, but he did a great job.
Whoa, shots fired.
I love Chris. Chris does great work for us. It's always late, though. I love you, Chris.
Quick note, I don't know if you guys heard, I was trying to do the applause button and I pushed the crickets button.
Yeah, I heard
Just
crickets.
as Dave made his comment.
Yeah, I was like, wow, all right, so my joke was bad. Cool.
That's it, though. That's
sympathetic
All right,
residents
well,
here.
episode's
redos.
over. Thanks,
No
folks.
redos.
Thanks
I
for
told
listening.
you, one sound effect per episode. That was it. That's my bad.
Okay.
You didn't deserve the crickets.
It might be just where I am in life and
Yeah.
like where my siblings and my friends are in life. But I feel like this topic, this is the one that I'm talking to folks about.
Yeah,
the
we get a
most.
lot of
Mm,
questions.
It's what everybody wants.
always, what's the
Yeah.
7 seat? I need a third row. And sometimes I'm like, do you need a third
Yeah,
row?
that's a question, but
Because
we're not here. Yeah.
there are more and more big 2-row SUVs. But
right.
in terms of the third row of seating, and I understand it, you want to have it, even if you only have 2 kids, you want to have the
Yeah.
flexibility. So the good news is I look at this list, and Elliot, I'm hoping you'll go down the list, but there's
You know me.
there's not a bad choice on here. All of these
Good
are
variety,
excellent.
too. Yeah. like with the different price points, different sizes. I know they're all 3-row, but they're different
Yeah.
sizes of 3-row.
Yeah.
So maybe
how,
you want...
how much
Very much.
3-row do
right.
you need?
Because you don't always need it. So maybe, some people are like, yes, I have 4 kids. I always have these seats. Other times it's like, maybe I get stuck with the carpool duty. I need
Yeah.
to pop one of those seats up, but generally I'm not.
Yeah.
One
and-
in particular is jumping out at me for that,
Go.
but
Yeah.
Outlander.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tell
Mitsubishi
us-
Outlander.
Tell us more about the Outlander.
Well, it certainly deserves a place here for being.
It's
It has to be
7-seater.
the most affordable, right? And
Yes,
there
it's
is
gotta be. Yes.
a plug-in hybrid version, which might also be the most affordable
I
plug-in
don't think
hybrid.
you can get a 3-row
It-
and the plug-in hybrid.
Really?
Isn't that- don't
no,
think
you
it-
can.
I'm pretty
Can
sure I
you?
filmed a video on one
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that had both of
Just
those.
throwing water bottles
Both
at
of
you.
those
Well,
things.
okay. So that's great because I would have thought those cancel each other out because of like the battery packaging.
I
So
mean,
that's a really cool
It's a
car.
very small
plug-in
third
hybrid,
row.
affordable with the occasional third row. not for
Occasional
adults.
cam
Yeah,
chair
okay.
third row. Yeah.
So one of the questions is, do you need a third row? But the question is also, do you need cargo space and a third row? Because
That's
tough.
harder to
and
get.
with the Outlander
True.
specifically, we did a funny little bit where Matt tried to squeeze himself into the third row, and it didn't work that well.
And
No,
it
it
is
didn't.
funny.
And how tall are you?
And available on
I-
our
For our
YouTube
listeners.
channel, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely 5'11", but I've
Okay.
never liked how it sounded, so I always tell people I'm 5'10".
Oh,
It's just,
you-
just
What?
weird.
You round down.
Just get into the psyche.
I round up. I round
I'd
up
like
to the
to-
6.
A call out of note. Prior to 2025, I believe you could get the Volkswagen Tiguan
Yes.
with the third row
Yep.
for less than the Outlander.
Really?
But talk about lack of space. If you put the third row in the Tiguan, you don't like those passengers.
Wait, I can't
Wait.
believe it was less than the Outlander at some point.
It started at like 28, 27, 28.
No kidding.
Yeah, but like a totally different size vehicle.
Mhm.
So, and for 2025, which we will be reviewing, we'll actually have a video of it on the First Drive program. And then I'm sure we'll get a further written review on it. But we will be doing that shortly, and they are dropping the third row for
Okay.
2025. So this year, the Mitsubishi Outlander, definitely the most cost-effective way to get that third row.
So we're talking about, I'm glad you brought up the Volkswagen, the Tiguan. They have the Volkswagen Atlas 3-row. It's not on this list, which I think I might have included it on this list.
We
Speaking
do
of
have a
the-
separate 3-row SUV article, although I see it's
Oh,
not
this
on
is
there
7.
either right now.
Yeah, that's a compelling, if anyone's listening,
Sure.
the Atlas is a compelling 3-row SUV. And
Sorry.
No.
One of my favorite features, we've talked about this, we all have kids, you will in another month.
Shortly.
One of the coolest features about the Atlas, and I shot the video of this, so I've got 2 kids, 2 car seats. The middle row of seats folds out of the way without collapsing. So you can leave car seats in that middle row as you're getting access to the third row.
I think the Pathfinder does
Yeah,
this
the Pathfinder
That is-
does
And the
that.
new Palisade, according
The new
to your
Palisades.
video.
But many others, many on this list do not do that. So if you're trying to fold the seats out of the way, they collapse. So just as a heads up, that feature exists in some cars. Parents, I know, I love it.
It is such a boring feature,
Right.
but
if you
maybe the
know-
most critical feature that exists
If
as
you
a
have
parent
3
with car
kids
seats.
where you're like regularly getting to that third row and there are 2 car seats in the second row. And like the kids these days are in car seats until they're like 17 years old.
Yeah.
So there's always car seats
I'm
there.
still in one.
Yeah.
Well, you're only 5'11".
That's right. It's actually
Yeah.
a booster seat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or as my 6-year-old calls it, she calls it a cabooster.
Oh, that's
She's
so
like,
cute.
I got a cabooster seat. Yeah. So,
But yeah, the question of which cars are best with kids, that's a topic once Natalie comes back, and we will all then have kids and we can have a super informed discussion about this.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. Can't wait for your child. So
I almost
excited.
feel like maybe we should have it now so I can be prepared, but
that's true. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm here to learn.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. We've talked about the list. Let me go
Yeah,
through.
that's where we're jumping ahead.
The
What's
list.
on the list? Let's hear it.
We can jump all around, baby. It's okay. I don't like that. I don't like what I just did.
Can't
Sorry.
take it back.
I can't. Okay, the list. You've heard about the Mitsubishi Outlander. Again, this is in a slightly alphabetical order, not in a ranked order. Acura MDX, Honda Pilot, Hyundai Palisade, Jeep Grand Cherokee L, the L,
Longer.
the Kia Telluride, the Lincoln Aviator, Mazda CX-90, Mitsubishi Outlander, as we said, Subaru Ascent, and then 2 Toyotas, the Highlander and the Grand Highlander. That is
Not
our
the
list.
Sequoia.
And not the Sequoia, and also not listing the Hyundai Palisade on here.
No, it's
Oh,
on
no,
there.
it is. I'm sorry.
But no
Alphabetically
VW
different.
Atlas and no, what's the Kia? The Sorento comes in a 3-row. That's one of the kind of like the
Oh.
Outlander where it's a smaller package,
Right.
But it was like the occasional 3-row.
Yeah,
Also
I
the
forget
Santa
about
Fe
that.
now.
Yeah.
Honestly, this all just goes to the point of like everybody makes. I mean, Toyota's got 2
Got
of
2,
them.
yeah,
Kia's got 2 of them. Hyundai's got 2 of them.
Well,
Toyota's
Toyota has
got
more
2
than
on
2
this
of them.
list.
Mazda only has 1 of them, but their 2-row is the same car.
Yes,
Yeah.
the CX-90 and the CX-70 are the
Yeah.
same car. All right, so what are you picking, Elliot? Why don't you kick us
What am
off?
I
What
picking?
stands out
Oh
on
my
this list of like,
goodness.
I'd spend my own money on this if I'm buying a
So
7
I
car.
had I had a little bit of an accident. It was a
Do you need to go
50-50.
change? Oh. Sorry, it's a safe space.
Thank you. It was a 50-50 at fault
But-
accident. There you go. Oh, where do you?
No, we're gonna do another one. There you go.
Thank you.
Dad joke.
I had an accident 2 or 3 years ago, and I got a Highlander as my rental
A
replacement.
normal Highlander.
The
Not-
regular Highlander.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first times I'd had a 3-row SUV. It's before I was getting cars, before I had experience with a lot of different cars. And I was shocked by how useless the 3rd row was.
It's not big on
with
that
the
car.
cargo space. The Highlander is tiny.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I realized that 3rd rows aren't always that useful.
They're not all created equal.
They're not all created equal. And
Yeah.
which is why I'm excited the Grand Highlander exists.
Yes.
Because I think the Highlander itself looks good,
Well, great car
not a super useful car if you're looking for a 3rd row SUV.
Yeah,
to
but
use regularly.
Fair.
I can
10
see it as like
bajillion
the,
people can't be wrong.
They can't
right?
be. And there's a Highlander hybrid, which love that. But the Grand Highlander, we just shot a review
We did.
a couple weeks ago. Should be out by now on the channel. Check it out. I think it's a fantastic car.
cavernous.
I
Yeah.
really like the
very
Grand
big.
Highlander.
I think the Highlander is successful because so many of American consumers, and I'm guilty of this, we're probably all guilty of this, we buy a vehicle based on the random scenario that may occur once while we are over the 5 years we're going to own them. Like that one time I may have my niece and nephew in the back seat. I got to have 3 rows, right? And so the Highlander, I think the more people are going to go for the Grand Highlander if they're actually always using that 3rd row.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Highlander sort of suits that. Like, well, it gives me peace of mind. If I need that row, it's there.
Definitely.
It's like the
Otherwise, it's
family
folded.
version of like, oh, I might need the wilderness trim of a Subaru, or like, I might need the TRD. Like, what happens if just society goes down the drain? Like, I might need the TRD Pro. And the Highlander is like, well, what happens if I do have to pick up that extra hitchhiker? I might need the 3rd
You might
row.
need it.
All-wheel drives. I mean, look, I live in Southern California. So many people have all-wheel drive. Why do you have all-wheel drive? Well, I go skiing. How often do you drive up to Big Bear to go skiing? Like once every 2 years?
Yeah.
So for the entire time you're owning that car, you're paying more in wear, more in it's a heavier vehicle. The gas mileage is lower. You paid more up front for that vehicle for the 1 time, the 2 times. So anyway.
Every time you get a flat, you have to buy 4 tires.
As people are shopping, just keep that in mind. Be honest with yourself of like, what type of 3-row do I really need on this list?
The other car on this list, I'll go again and then I'll pass it off. A Honda Pilot. I had a Honda Pilot recently.
Yeah.
I really, really liked
They're
it.
nice.
I felt like the 3rd row was entirely usable. My brother, he is 6'1", the height I always wanted to be.
Boy.
He was 6'1",
That's tough.
or he is 6'1". He sat in the back because of just some family spaces, and he was like fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
And he's 6'1". For like an hour,
That's
he was
great.
back there, and
That's
I said, how is it? And he's very effusive. He said, it's fine. And for him to say it's fine as a 6'1" adult, that's pretty good. And I think Honda's new styling, it's so simple and it's clean.
It's
not
also tough though.
It's
It's a good balance.
It's not exciting, but it just works. And I'm kind of a big fan of the Honda
really good
current
proportions.
styling. So I'm liking the Pilot off this list.
I like the Pilot too. Honestly, pretty much all of the SUVs on this list suffer from the same thing. The big one with the Pilot with me is like there is no hybrid option.
Sure.
And the V6, the naturally aspirated V6 in that is pretty thirsty. So like,
well, the CX-90, you can get a plug-in hybrid.
You can get a plug-in hybrid. And a lot of
And the
these,
Grand Cherokee L.
there's a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, or they're using a turbocharger in there. The Kia Telluride and the Palisade, both as of today,
Are today.
yes, our today, but also like if you when you're listening to this, most likely if you go to your dealership, they're going to sell you a naturally aspirated gas engine Kia or Hyundai. We will have a hybrid Hyundai.
The next generation of the Palisade.
There's no word from Honda about updating
I
the
feel like it's
powertrain.
inevitable though.
It's
like
gotta be coming.
everyone,
You would think.
They've moved through the lineup.
yeah, and like Toyota now has hybrid versions of both the Highlander and Grand Highlander.
Yeah.
I feel like it's inevitable. Although Honda, the CRV is like largely hybrid. The Accord is largely
The Accord and the
hybrid.
Civic.
Yeah, I mean once
They'll get there.
once
Passport,
we see
Passport notably not
So
a
the-
hybrid.
Right.
the
Oh,
Passport,
And it's also brand new.
Just redone, yeah.
Passport, Pilot, Ridgeline, Odyssey, all have the same engine, all
MDX.
built on the same. All built on the same line though.
And
Those
the MDX.
4, and the MDX is built there too
Yeah.
in Alabama. So you do think like when they make the decision to put a hybrid in the Odyssey, which
They all get it.
they've got to get it.
They have to.
Every
Compete with the
all the
Sienna.
other minivans have a hybrid.
There's only
option.
4 on the market,
Right.
and
Yeah.
3
And
of them offer a hybrid.
The Odyssey
Oh,
is
yeah,
all of a
that's a
sudden
good
like
too.
just like that.
Yeah.
Is the non-competitive one because it doesn't have that hybrid. So yeah, once they make that decision, we're going to see the hybrid in a lot of Hondas, and that'll be exciting.
But that's why I like this list is there's a mix of, if you want a plug-in hybrid, you've got the Grand Cherokee L, you've got the CX-90 and the Outlander. If you want just a normal hybrid, you've got the 2 Toyotas. Is that it? The Lincoln Aviator. Is there a hybrid version of that?
Oh yeah, well maybe not. There was a PHEV. I drove
Yeah,
the PHEV to
And then you have just gas
the
versions.
Adirondacks. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Lincoln Aviator. Who's driven that?
I drove. So I took the Aviator. Actually, they loaned it to me for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Ooh.
I asked.
You could really
I
live
said-
with that.
I said, would you mind if I took it for 2 weeks? And they were like, you can't have it for 2 weeks. And I was like, but I want to take it on vacation. And they were like, okay, fine.
And how was it?
It was fabulous to this
Okay.
day. This was in 2020. So it was during the pandemic. My wife and I went up to the Adirondacks. We had a little cabin for 2 weeks. It was lovely.
Pre-kids.
Overlooking the lake. No kids.
No kids.
Yeah.
Love it.
Just,
what a moment
just
in life.
so peaceful. Our
Yeah.
friends actually came over to visit from Burlington and brought their
Wow.
3-month-old. And I was like, what are you doing?
Disturbing the peace.
But to this day, my wife says things like, You should get more Lincolns. Drive more Lincolns. I really like the seats were so comfortable. Yeah. Stereo is outstanding, and nobody thinks about Lincoln this way.
They don't. Yeah. Well,
and they make a really good car.
And I feel like that's such a statement of endorsement from your wife, who is in the passenger seat of many vehicles that you bring home that you're testing.
Yeah.
So for her, that's I like that endorsement.
Well, I also we were going on a road trip, and I made the point up front of being like, they're heated, they're ventilated, there's massage. You can adjust them 75 different ways.
Lincoln seats are
normally
wild.
I don't really bother. I'm just like, get comfortable. She knew exactly what the Aviator could do, and now it's like she's ruined.
Yeah, right. That's like, a high bar.
Why doesn't this seat have massage?
The
I'm like,
Forester?
Well, because it's a Mitsubishi.
Yeah, the Forester.
I bet
Forster's not massage, or the Ascent on here. No Subarus are giving you any massage.
So Matt, that was the 2020 Aviator you said? 21?
Yes. I don't. So by the way, the Grand Cherokee L, I don't believe they have the 4xe version of yet.
Oh, just the normal Grand Cherokee.
Just the normal Grand Cherokee. I wanted to check that.
All right, good point.
I was just going to wrap up the Aviator by saying the new one's beautiful. I love the exterior of the Aviator.
Lincoln gets overlooked a lot, and I think they're doing some good stuff right now. I think, good engine, good power.
Yeah,
very comfortable,
good looking car,
squishy,
and apparently the seats are great.
Good job, Lincoln.
Oh, the seats are incredible. Have you been in a Lincoln? I mean, it's like literally like 30-way adjustable
The first
seats
car I ever had on loan for me, and it wasn't when I was getting cars. I had it for we were doing a comparison video. It was the Lincoln Navigator, and
wow,
Matt and Natalie have both seen my driveway. There's maybe a centimeter on each side that you can get a Navigator in my driveway. And it was the first car I ever had. And I think it was like 120 grand. Ugh. I was so stressed trying to back that into my driveway, hoping to not hit anything, but I didn't. Drove it to the chute. That's a comfortable car. Yeah. That's a living room on wheels.
I think we should explain about getting cars too. What you're talking about when you say that is that you get press cars.
I keep saying this
on loan.
That's going to be a topic. But yeah, we all get press cars for week-long loans that, somebody who's been doing it longer.
Well, the automakers maintain fleets, right? So, and each city has sort of a fleet. They're actually run by a third party of cars for the media to use. You're usually given it with a full tank of gas for a week. You use it. Usually, there's a mileage limit. They don't want you taking it to Vegas, in my case. But you live in it as would the owner or buyer of that car. Try to get a sense of what it's like day to day. Like I said,
it through its paces.
I've got two kids who drop Cheerios all over. I mean, the amount of time I spend vacuuming these cars before I hand them back is like, oh my goodness. And then you have a sense of like, okay, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And people always ask me of like, well, how are you comparing? What if you have like this $80,000 luxury car one week to, a $20,000 entry level? And I'm not comparing those two to one another. You remember the context of each car within like how the buyer's going to use it.
Yeah, that's something that I struggle with is like remembering exactly how I felt about this car when I do have a comparable one. Natalie, you do such a good job in your reviews of like remembering the competitors.
You take notes? I always take thorough notes.
Yeah,
because it's stuff you're going to forget.
I'm trying to like remember the experience. Yes, I have the notes, but I feel like you always do such a good job of like recalling exactly how that one felt and how this one feels. So.
I appreciate that. That is a challenge. And I also have, my husband's a car guy and we talk about them a lot.
That helps.
Sometimes I'll go, what did I think of that?
Spouses are great. Well, I always ask my wife.
You keep your memory in another person.
Because I've got like my car guy perspective, but I'll always ask her of like, would you buy this?
Yeah.
Would you grab this? What are you feeling? What are you liking? And she'll point out things that I would have overlooked But anyway, let's pick another car.
Just wanted to clarify,
when do we get
was
the
not your actual
podcast
first car.
Dave going to Vegas? Can't we just record that one?
Driving a press car to Vegas.
Let's get on the road.
What would our version be? Like Atlantic City? I mean, where would we be driving if we were from here?
Maybe Foxwoods.
Yeah, Foxwoods. What's the casino you guys have around here? Mohegan Sun.
Yeah,
because I'm using these episodes
mileage.
as my notepad, which I'll get to later in the edit. We're going to do a mobile episode. We'll be in the car driving and we'll have our mics with us. And we'll
I love it.
Road trip episode. So
I want to know what
maybe
people
not
think of the
ones.
Acura MDX because I'm a big fan. I'm going to pull it back on here. Acura MDX.
Yeah.
Yay or nay? Should it be on this list?
I like the MDX.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I didn't like the Type S so much, and I know people got mad at my video about that.
That's okay.
But
it's
they're not professionals.
The vocal minority.
Yeah.
Leave the comments.
But the MDX overall, I like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like.
You agree?
Yeah. Great side. I mean, as Matt said, that's the same platform as the Honda Odyssey, the minivan, and then the Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Passport too?
Passport.
It's all of Honda's big stuff.
Ridgeline.
Yeah. All the big. So there's a
Ridgeline.
ton of space in that thing.
I'm waiting for the Acura Ridgeline. I want the luxury Ridgeline.
Ooh.
Yeah.
like the
That's a truck.
GMC
We're talking
version
about the
of
MDX.
the.
Just saying.
Focus, Matt.
Yeah.
Over here.
All right.
Over here.
Does the MDX still have the true touchpad
No,
interface?
they just
they
changed
got
that.
rid of
Yeah.
that.
For 2025, we shot a video, I think. Yeah, they
you
redid that info. The cars largely look the same. They
There
got
you
rid
go
of that.
then.
It's
I mean,
so annoying.
basically a flawless vehicle then.
Wow.
You know?
Strong words.
Tight third row, similar to the Highlander, but I feel like it's got a
Workable.
little more
It's
space.
got more than the.
My brother and his wife have an MDX and 3 kids, and
Yeah.
the oldest kid loves sitting in the third row.
Okay.
I mean,
Having-
granted, she's 7. Hi,
still.
Abigail. But
No, I'm a fan. I like those. a lot.
yeah,
I think that it's a nice way to get a luxury vehicle without spending $80,000.
Drives
Like a
really
Mercedes.
well.
Drives really
Yeah,
well.
really
and
Comfortable
it
seats.
looks
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Honestly-
It's aged well. Yeah.
and like not too much shade to Lexus because they make some great cars as well. But there's no Lexus on here. The Acura MDX I would take over the Lexus RX.
What about the
I'd take it.
TX?
The TX.
I haven't driven the TX. I've driven
Can
the
I-
Grand Highlander a lot.
The TX, I'm a big fan of Lexus.
Yeah.
The TX is one of the bigger misses I think Lexus has
Ooh,
had in a while.
interesting.
It just doesn't feel, I mean, they're expensive and it does not feel worth what you're paying for. It just feels like a slightly nicer Toyota. The build quality, the ride quality, I'm like, and the looks, it looks so, it looks, you know, in car ad or in ads for stuff where they show a car, but it's not, they can't legally
Like an insurance
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, they'll show like a very generic car that you could tell what they did and they sort of
Yeah.
taped over.
Yep.
Lexus, the TX looks like that. It looks like they sort of made a generic version of a car. I am not a fan. And I'm glad
Interesting.
it's not on this list. So if you're
Yeah.
considering the TX, sure, it's fine. It'll last forever, but there's better choices on this
And
list.
if you want to hear 12 minutes and see the Lexus TX, Dave did the review on the CarGurus YouTube channel.
Did I?
The
They all
Lexus
blurred together.
TX 350
I don't
2024.
know. Okay, yeah, I probably said the exact same thing.
Ripped
of
it
just
apart.
We review a lot of
There's a lot of
cars.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
it's a
tell.
blur.
Yeah.
But I remember being disappointed in that. So
That's fantastic. Well, it's not fantastic.
not fantastic. On the
What haven't we spoken about? The Subaru Ascent hasn't gotten a mention.
for our resident Subaru guys,
Yeah.
The Subaru
what do you
Ascent
think?
is the big Forester brother. It's like
Yeah.
it looks like a Subaru, or it looks like a Forester that's
that
been
got stung by a bee.
yeah.
I
I had the Ascent, and it's in dire need of interior updating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It feels old, but that engine, it was a Turbo 4, I believe,
Yeah.
not a Turbo 6, Turbo 4. But it felt like a peppy engine. It drank gas like crazy. I feel like I had
Okay.
Matt, what was it? Like 12 miles to the gallon at the end
Yeah.
of my
Well,
life.
gosh.
and we should highlight the like when we're commuting from just outside Boston,
It's not
into
ideal.
the CarGurus office, it's stop and go the whole way.
yeah.
This is
Well,
not
still,
not
12
true
miles
city
is-
MPG.
I mean, it was pure. That's all I.
Pure anger.
It was pure city driving the whole way. But I liked it.
Okay.
I'm a Subaru stan, but
relatively comfortable 3-row SUV. There's
Also
a
probably
decent
one of the
amount of space.
Cheaper ones on this
it's
list.
probably
for
one of the
sure.
cheapest.
So
Absolutely.
it's got that going for it.
Yeah, and like you can't say enough about Subaru's all-wheel drive. So like
True.
if you do need something that is capable in the snow, nobody's gonna look at this list and be like, you know what's sexy? The Subaru. I want that. Oh gosh, it looks
Yeah.
good. But it's capable, it's practical. It's not the biggest either. I think it makes really good use of space for its passengers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was comfortable.
It's
And
kind of like Subaru to a T,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
It's
it does
exactly
a
what
lot
you'd
of stuff
expect.
really well,
Yeah.
and it's probably not leading the pack in any one particular area.
but it's like 3
other
or
than
4 in
all-wheel drive,
everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's got to be due for an update soon.
You would think.
I mean,
They've updated everything else
Yeah,
almost.
I bet
It's
you
the
that's
next one up.
Like next year, I bet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kind of
maybe-
looks a lot like some of the other updates, though, too.
Mhm.
Like-
Well, they just refreshed it, so it.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So that one we're showing there is fresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense then.
Another one that's not on this list, I just realized, the Nissan Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Doesn't get its due.
Oh.
It's
Good
a great car.
size, good. I like the engine in that thing. It's because it's still a V6.
Can I do a couple minutes?
Please take it away.
Everybody's okay.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Go for it.
Nissan was kind enough to lend me a Pathfinder when I was on a ski trip out
Okay. Ooh.
in.
That's taken a lot of 3 rows on ski trips.
Or trips. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not what you know; it's who you know and who you can write about for. You know, on CarGurus. Go to CarGurus.com. I should probably finish the review now. I landed in Seattle. It was myself, 3 other grown men,
Mhm.
all of our skis and our like bags. You know, like
Yeah. Wow.
went to the grocery store. So we've loaded up this
Yeah.
car. Comfortable. Everyone's
Yes.
happy. the tech doesn't blow you away, but it does everything you need it to do.
But it doesn't frustrate you.
Doesn't
all
frustrate
at the
you.
same
It's
time.
very simple. We had the Rock Creek.
Which is what?
It's kind of their
like
like
an off-roady
off-roady
version, the wilderness,
version. There's not a whole lot of like mechanical
XRT.
upgrades to it, but it's got better tires. So I didn't need snow chains because it had 3-season like mud and or M&S rated winter tires. And when we were there, it was literally, we're like looking at the weather around this ski trip and it's just like nothing, no snow, fresh snow. We landed, it snowed 2 feet while we were there.
That you drove in this Pathfinder.
So we drove in the Pathfinder,
And
felt
for a
very
skier, that's
sure-footed.
good.
Oh, it was great.
It was
It was
great.
also like a lot of times in the Pacific Northwest, it snows a lot, but it's like 38 degrees. So it's
Right.
like you're skiing through cement. It was beautiful snow. It was under 25 the entire time there.
That's
I could do a
delightful.
whole podcast on
Yeah.
this.
Oh, we know.
The most the most entertaining part of the whole trip though was we parked the car, skied for 2 days, and then I had to take it out of that parking spot and it had snowed 2 feet. I just brushed off the windshield, put it in snow mode. There we go.
Love it.
It just like extracted itself
Yeah.
beautifully. And so yeah, I mean I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
I'm a fan.
Pathfinder. And to the 3-row part,
Yeah, it's good size.
it
Decent size.
had enough size for 4 adult stinky disgusting men, all of their skis,
That's a
all
lot
their
of- yeah,
gear,
that fills up
and
quickly.
Now,
and
skis
a
are the-
set of groceries.
The skis
Yeah.
are the long ones, right? They're
Yeah,
the-
that's right.
Yeah.
I've got a
What's the
pair of
alternative?
177s. Yeah.
So Matt and I recently went skiing together. I snowboard, he skis. So
Come on, it was team building
it was awesome.
What time did you guys get up to do that?
Early.
early.
Yeah, that's
We got
what I
there right when the
heard.
slopes opened. It was
I think
great.
On a
I
day
think I picked
off.
you up at
On a day
6.
off.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah, I think the Pathfinder, it's not all about looks, but I think it's a good looking
Oh,
car too.
I like the way it look, and it doesn't get its due. I feel like
Yeah.
many other of the cars on this list get more attention, and that's one that just it's yeah. I
yeah,
recommended
my
it to
sister-in-law
a
has
couple of
one.
people.
It has like she has the bluish greenish one.
Yeah,
Great color.
Yeah.
Good looking car.
they're cool.
I really like it.
I'll pipe down for a bit. Thank you for the
No.
time.
That's
Don't
what
you
we're doing
dare!
here.
We're here to talk.
We're talking cars. That's what we're doing. Is there any that we haven't? Obviously, the Palisade just got redesigned. We spoke about that, but that hybrid is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
to have
it's
a
gonna make
yeah.
difference.
I will say the Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
It's like if
the
there's a weak link
reliability
here.
as the reliability nerd here.
Here's what
You struggle with the Grand Cherokee a little bit?
I would put the Volkswagen Atlas and or the Pathfinder on this list long before I put the Grand Cherokee for that reason.
Would you agree, looking at this list, the Grand Cherokee L can do things
Oh,
that
can
the
do many
others
things.
cannot? So like if
You mean like off-road things?
off-road
Yeah, but-
things,
Sure, but no one buying these truly needs whatever the Grand Cherokee can do that the others can't.
maybe argument in favor of the Jeep. Number 2, there are a lot of people buying them.
What's Einstein's quote? Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups.
You said it.
So I just I get why they're popular. They look good. They drive well. I like the interior. They feel like, but again, as a reliability, someone who's just that's so high on my scorecard is how reliable a vehicle will
Yeah.
be. That one's not going to rank well. So
And
just go into it with your eyes open. If you're okay with that, you're going to get a great vehicle.
And they come with a warranty.
Sure.
In my head, the Grand Cherokee it's not luxury, but it's expensive, right? Is it more expensive
Premium.
than
It's-
relative?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
it's pushing more towards premium.
And the
Yeah,
Grand
they
Cherokee
get
L,
expensive.
that's even a little bit more. So
I mean, our article right here says a whopping 6 trims in price ranging from $42,000, which is like, sure, why not?
Sure.
To $72,000. Please don't spend $72,000 on that.
That's tough.
That's high.
72's
But I do get why they're popular. There are other choices I would make first on this list.
okay.
Just had to say it.
You
Love-
said
love you,
it.
Jeep.
I want to point out that we have a few different powertrains represented here. No EVs on this
Ah.
list, and I think
Would you add one?
maybe the Kia EV9 deserves a
Okay.
shout out here.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
Expand.
Yeah.
can be 7-passenger if you get the
Oh, yeah.
I think
bench
we all
seat in
like
the
the
middle.
EV9.
EV9's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I
don't
think
know
the
if it's
EV9 is very cool. I will
like
say the two I get asked about the most on here are Telluride versus Palisade, which
Yes.
is why we did a comparison video.
That's right.
They also have a special place in my heart from that.
So how
but,
does one? So you guys did a comparison. I haven't.
Yeah.
We
How does
did a
one choose?
two-person
I mean, I feel like it
comparison.
comes down to just subjective looks because the powertrain is the same, the size is largely the same. What do you guys say to
It was
people.
very much kind of like the style and what you're looking for in a car.
The lever shifter in the Telluride and not in the Palisade.
That's a big difference.
I like a shifter.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Don't give me buttons.
Yeah.
Don't make me do this.
Yeah, I know they take up less space, but
in general, I feel like we came to the conclusion that Palisade, which was probably calligraphy trim.
They were both the top.
Yeah.
They were apples to apples comparison.
It's much more like, oh, this kind of feels like a Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a Hyundai. And the Telluride was more like, I mean, it can't do everything a 4Runner does, but I think we compared it a lot to like the vibe and aesthetic of something that's a little more rugged, a little more off-road. I think that was an X Pro.
I was just going to say, you might have had the
X Pro.
But I think they market it in those directions too.
I think so.
Yes. They 100%. I mean, just look at the
Those
names.
like
You've got Palisade on one,
right.
Telluride on the other.
Yeah.
No, good point.
But I remember really liking the brown leather interior on the Telluride too, because I remember like I had the Palisade, so I was supposed to be on that side, and it was kind of like, but this interior, like,
I mean, have we ever seen a brown leather interior that we just really didn't like?
Actually, I have. It was like too
Really?
dark. It was just in one that we did a video.
oh, it was too dark.
The Jeep. Sorry to be.
So,
Sorry.
Back
hit
on
him
Jeep.
again, Tony.
Jeeps are great until they're not. No, it was a Jeep Wagoneer S. Is that the all electric one?
Yeah.
Had this sort of odd color combo, and part of it was brown inside. It was like brown and blue, dark blue inside, which is like a weird
Interesting. I like blue interiors, but that seems like a strange
It was
pairing.
too dark brown,
Too dark.
and then too dark blue. It was
Interesting.
anyway.
Yeah, the Telluride Palisade, still one of our most successful YouTube videos. So
Because everyone has that question.
yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
So
you can't go wrong is my answer. Just whichever one you think looks best.
well, I'm excited.
Can find when you need it.
And your dealer has, because
This
they're
was
hard to find.
2023 versus 23. So I'm excited. This new Palisade we're about to get, and the eventual new Telluride that we're surely going to get. I want to do this again and see if anything changes. Like,
I'd love to compare the upcoming Hyundai Ioniq 9 and the Kia EV9
For
too,
sure.
once we get a chance to do that.
Yeah, the all electric versus
Yeah.
all electric. Yeah, I like
you
that.
know what the viewers should do?
What's
They
that?
should subscribe so they don't miss
So when
these things happen, right?
What a
We've
novel
reviewed everything
idea.
here,
That
and
would be
then
the
whatever's
move.
not on this list is coming up. Yeah, we will be.
That would be
driving.
the smart thing to do.
It would, smart people subscribe to the YouTube channel, and according to Dave, stupid people do other things.
in large numbers.
Let's wrap this up. What's the one car you're taking home? Sometimes we do like, what are your
I like
top
it.
two, top
Yeah.
three? What's the one car?
One.
You know what?
That you're paying for.
That you're paying for
Yeah.
out of your money. That's your life.
I like it.
I like keeping it to this list, but if you feel strongly about the Pathfinder, say the Pathfinder.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I kind of gave mine early. I said the Pilot.
Yep.
Okay.
Usually I'm pretty into fuel efficiency, and the Pilot is not the winner there, but I just really like the packaging and the styling of the Pilot. So, but also the new Palisade. If we count the 26 Palisade.
No,
We're
it's
not
on this
counting
list.
the new
This
one.
is for
We haven't driven
2025.
Oh, that's true.
You haven't
That's
driven
true.
it.
You
Could-
know
could
nothing
drive
about
like
it.
it. Doesn't.
Based on looks purely, the new Palisade is looking great. But on this list, I'm taking the Honda Pilot.
Okay. I really wanted to love the Mazda CX-90 because I do
think
like
we all do,
Mazda a lot.
Yep.
I feel like CX-50 was kind of where the driving dynamics and everything and the looks, frankly, topped out. So I'm going to have to go Acura MDX here. And
Oh, nice.
I think we know I am generally an Acura fan.
Well, I'm
also.
gonna chat back to those commenters who said you didn't like it enough. I'm gonna clip
Oh,
this
yeah,
on. Like,
I-
she
Well,
does
it's
like the
Type S.
MDX.
To
Well,
be
Type S
clear,
is different.
yeah,
because it's more
it was-
expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
on
And
the
it wasn't really meeting the Type S
Yes,
standard.
right.
Yes.
on the CX-90, do you feel that way both about the straight six all gas one and the PHEV?
Yes, I really
Interesting.
didn't like either one, and I think I had them back to back, so it was
They're expensive too.
Good
Yeah.
comparison.
Still very
Like,
expensive.
Yeah.
It was easy to be like, oh, it wasn't a problem with this specific car. It's actually the model making these weird suspension noises and stuff. But I also don't like the shape. Like it feels very slab sided
The
at
CX-90.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I've
Absolutely.
like normally this is a little bit embarrassing, but when I was younger, before I got into this profession, I always liked cars, and I actually thought Mazda was a luxury brand because they're so good looking. I
Well,
remember
they're
like,
thrilled to hear
interesting.
that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
thrilled to hear because they've tried very hard in the
Yeah.
past 10 years to move up
Yeah,
market.
they're approaching luxury.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of what we say.
definitely
They're
moving
they're
premium.
mid-market.
But just a little disappointed in the CX-90. I
Right.
love the CX-50,
Okay.
and I'm going to go MDX.
MDX.
Yeah, I mean,
Beautiful.
Natalie took the words right out of my mouth. I would on this list as it is, MDX because I'm a snob and I like it's luxurious, but it's also not $80,000. It's affordable. It's got relatively affordable. It's got tons of space.
You're not worried about getting like held up at gunpoint because your car is so expensive,
right?
But it's nice.
But it's not. Yeah, they'll be looking for the Mercedes as they let the Acura. The Volkswagen Atlas and the Nissan Pathfinder, I think, are also worth looking at. They're for reasons we've already talked about. But on this list, give me the Acura.
Yeah. So, remember the part where we were saying that we had to pay for it?
Mm-hmm. True.
Glad you guys are buying the Acura. So
must be nice.
Maybe I'm shopping used.
Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek starts at just under $45,000, which strikes me as an incredibly good deal.
Because it's funny. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. The Infiniti QX60 is based on the Pathfinder. If you blindfolded someone, please don't do this, and drove those two vehicles back to back, to your point, the Nissan is going to feel just as luxurious and refined as the Infiniti. So,
well, a lot of times you see the more off-roady ones. They're kind of built on the top trim, so they charge. They're often the most expensive version, and that's not the case with the Nissan. I think it's based on the SV.
45 is a great price for that car.
I like that a lot. For the same exact reasons, I like the Telluride a lot. I probably am going to end up picking the Telluride. It's interesting to me. You guys picked the Pilot, the MDX, and the MDX, which is basically just picking the same car. It's just, do you want the luxury one or the non-luxury one?
How soft do you want your leather?
I've always liked the Telluride, and I think dollar for dollar, it's either the Rock Creek or it's the Telluride. I'd be happy with either of them.
Yeah.
I think I like the Telluride a little more.
You've said that before too.
Yeah.
You've said the Telluride was on your list.
Honestly, like if you look at this list, there are a number of cars here where you're like, oh, that only looks the way it does or exists in the case of the Grand Highlander because of the Telluride and the Palisade.
You think they were that influential?
They came in and everyone else was like, oh,
well, they did everything right.
We have to update our car already.
They did everything. They're huge.
Everything right.
They're practical. They're affordable. They're
immediate
designed
sales
well.
successes too.
Flew off lots.
Yes.
Everybody wanted a piece
Kia
of it.
Headquarters. Internally, they've been calling the Telluride the Celluride since it launched.
I kind of love that.
Little insider info.
Yeah, they're like, put that on sale. Why would we do that?
Dealers. There's a while during the pandemic when there was like everything was short. Oh my gosh, they were asking so much over a sticker. They were on dealer lots for minutes while people were snatching.
My in-laws were in the market for a third row or a 3-row SUV, and they went on my recommendation, went to Kia to see for a Telluride, and they were frustrated that they weren't getting any incentives. And I was like, They don't need to. They're not
economics.
They're not hurting on it, so they ended up with the GMC Acadia, which okay.
I didn't think about.
It's not on the list, but
I don't think it should be.
It's a decent experience.
Love the powertrain.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Now I feel like we're ending on a low note.
Yeah.
I mean,
why did you have to mention the Acadia?
Really, I was giving the Telluride its flowers.
The positive spin here is that there are a number of cars that aren't even on this list that we're still talking positively about.
Right.
Like this segment is. It is
there's a lot of
cornucopia.
There's very few bad cars.
Yeah.
And every automaker makes at least one.
It's so competitive. Right? And these are profitable vehicles for the automakers, so they're going to pull all the strings and try to get them as executed as well as they can. Yeah. And no one is phoning in these vehicles. So there's really good choices across the line.
Yeah. If
to the consumer's benefit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If there is a style of vehicle we review more than the third row SUV, I don't know what it is.
Compact crossover.
Maybe compact crossover. But if you're in the market for a third row SUV or any SUV, check out the CarGurus YouTube channel.
We've driven all of these several times over.
I mean, the deals on them, they're out there still.
Did you know
that
CarGurus is the best place to find a great deal?
I knew that it's the number one car shopping website in the United States.
Someone had told me that.
Yeah. By volume and I would say by experience.
And by friendly faces telling you what's good to drive.
Pretty good editorial team, too.
Not bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it a good place to work?
Great place to work. Actually voted one of Boston's best places to work.
I'm working right now, and I'm having a great time.
This is the work.
Because I'm not.
We're doing it.
We're working it in.
We're doing the work.
Yeah. We have moved into shill territory.
Yeah. So no one's listening anymore except for
With that, we're gonna say thank you for watching. We're gonna cut it here, and we're gonna say come back next week. Love that you're listening. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.